You're watching The Dawn Show here on WMCN TV, and we have lots of adorable guests, our doggies, and Dr. Morgan, you're adorable too, from the Clayton Veterinary Associates. I love that you believe in, and this is her dog George. I didn't introduce George, who's been in the green room. Oh, don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Yeah, I got my tie on. That's my only dog voice. It's for my dog buddy. Sorry, bear with me. We're going to see George get some acupuncture in a moment. But why would you do acupuncture on your dog? And George is a rescue, right? Foster rescue?
George was a rescue that we adopted 4 years ago. And he came out of a puppy mill in West Virginia. Many of the Cavalier King Charles Spaniels and English Toy Spaniels are raised in puppy mills, and so there are many, many that need to be rescued when mills get closed down or people can't take care of them anymore.
And so even though we're going to show a rescue dog, look at George, you're just so adorable. Even though we're going to show another rescue dog coming up who you're going to fall in love with, if somebody wants to adopt a dog like George or offer foster care, you can hook them up. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I have two Cavalier rescue groups that I work with, Cavalier Rescue USA and Lucky Star Cavalier Rescue. There are thousands of Cavaliers looking for homes.
Aww,
and they are wonderful dogs.
Which is wonderful but sad, you know.
Wonderful but sad. So but there are many of them out there available for adoption.
So we just want to remind you, you can call in live if you have a question for Dr. Morgan. But do you want to show us how you would do, you're going to try some acupuncture on George?
And one of the reasons I would do acupuncture on George, when he came to us, he had some eye problems. He couldn't make tears, and we solved that with diet, which is another story. But then he developed stomach ulcers. He's a little nervous, and there's 7 dogs in our house, so he's kind of low on the totem pole. And he developed stomach ulcers, and we changed his diet around. But as I'm sitting here, when I do acupuncture, I feel for points that are either what we call deficient, so they'll be depressed, or they're hyperactive. And so his little stomach points are actually a little bit deficient, so we can enhance that or build up that system by putting acupuncture needles in. So
these are the little green guys?
Yep, little green
needles.
needles.
Does this hurt him? Oh, he knows, right?
Yeah. He doesn't get acupuncture as much as he gets adjusted.
Okay,
Excuse me. Good boy. Okay. Oh, so there's his first needle.
Okay, can you guys, I don't know if you can see that. They're tiny, tiny, thin little
George,
needles.
turn your little head.
It's not even...
See, there's a green needle right here.
It's thinner than a sewing needle. I mean, they're just tiny,
they're really tiny.
How did you get into this holistic kind of treatments for animals? Because you don't hear about this so often.
Well, it was accidental. I went to take a course called Veterinary Orthopedic Manipulation because a flyer came that said it could help dogs recover from surgery faster. And I said, oh, that's great. My partner at the time did a lot of orthopedic surgeries, and I thought it would be great. And when I got there, I found out that we were talking about chiropractic. And I almost walked out. I said, oh, I don't know anything about this. I don't want to know anything about this. But I had paid for the course, so I stuck it out, and it was obviously life-changing. And when I came home and started doing it, I had so many of those miracle stories with dogs that came in, carried, and ran out. So I decided there was something to that. And so after the chiropractic, I got into, you name it, anything holistic I could find. And
but I mean, look at George's face. He's perfectly relaxed. You're putting needles up and down his spine. And he's just perfectly fine.
Can we turn you a little bit, Georgie?
Can you see that? Can you see the green? Yeah, they're the green, so you can see. So those are so what are those doing right now?
Well, there's a lot of energy going through them. So I put them in, and they were standing straight up, and you can see the 2 front ones are actually laying down because of the energy going through them. And the one over here, which was the first one I put in, he's actually kicking out already.
Wow. So I mean, this is amazing to me that you could know how to put tiny needles in a little tiny dog's back and know that it's going to help him. It blows my mind.
It's a long learning process. I've been doing acupuncture, oh boy, at least 10 or 12 years, and I still learn every day. Every case teaches me something.
So what does this do for George right now?
It makes him very relaxed.
Well, I can see that. He's practically falling asleep.
It'll make him very relaxed, and what it's going to do is make his tummy feel better. So, you know, whether he's a little nervous being on stage, being away from, I don't know, but his stomach points were a little weak, so we're strengthening them.
That's amazing. And when you talk about diet with animals, and I alluded in our first segment about my buddy, I feed him the Paul Newman Organic because my first dog had cancer. I won't even talk about them because we all cry about our doggies who died. But in other words, we try to feed them the healthiest stuff. And you believe in the raw diet for your dogs. And please call in if you have a question about diet, because this is critical, because a lot of you are saying, well, you know, wait a minute, the organic and those raw diets, and there's the number at the bottom of the screen, they're very expensive. But Dr. Morgan says, hey, you're going to spend more here, but you're going to save on those veterinarian bills.
Well, you're going to save on your veterinary bills, but you're also going to save on, you're going to have a happier, healthier pet. And I started raw feeding my dogs probably about 6 years ago, and the changes were dramatic. Not all people can do raw feeding. I understand that. I have a lot of clients who are vegans and vegetarians, and so to feed raw meat is pretty hard for them.
And what is that? It's just raw meat, raw chicken, raw?
Well, there are frozen raw products that are made into patties that are complete diets. So those are the simple way to do it, but they're a little bit pricey and not everybody can afford them. I personally shop at Amish markets or butchers where I can get meat that doesn't have preservatives, and I can get organic meats. And I do feed my guys raw organ meats as well as raw muscle meats, and they get
like chicken livers.
Chicken livers, chicken hearts, beef liver and heart if you can find it. They eat a lot of fish. They eat sardines, very, very healthy. They eat a lot of eggs.
Canned sardines?
Canned sardines.
So is it bad for them to eat? Because humans, we learn about salmonella and this and that. It's not bad for them to have raw?
You want to be careful of your sourcing. You want to make sure that your products are coming from a good source. You want to handle them correctly and make sure you keep your kitchen clean, just like if you're handling raw meats for yourself. When you go to the grocery store, that meat that is in the grocery store has a lot of preservatives, and if cultured, usually about 60% of it actually will grow bacteria. So you do need to be careful of your sourcing.
And we have somebody on Facebook actually, what about sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes are awesome. They're a superfood. So
really?
Cook your sweet potatoes.
So we can eat them with the dog?
Yes, cook your sweet potato. Really, things that are healthy for us are healthy for them.
Okay.
So the junk food for us is junk food for them.
Yeah, but we cook our meats, I mean, right?
We do, and our stomach acid is not as acidic as theirs is. They really don't have problems with the bacteria as long as you're careful with your sourcing.
So for somebody who would just make chicken for dinner, the boneless stuff, is it bad if it's cooked chicken and you give it to your dog?
No. It's absolutely great.
So you think that's better than the processed over-the-counter stuff?
I don't like processed foods. I would much rather see dogs on a home-cooked diet. If you're going to do a home-cooked diet, you need to add a mineral substance. There are mineral formulas made specifically for home-cooked diets. You don't want to do home-cooked without adding the minerals.
Okay, so hold that thought, Dr. Morgan. We're going to bring on Daisy. We're going to bring on the dog that maybe you can adopt as you take out the needles now that George is about to fall asleep. Think of your questions, call in, or write to us on Facebook, and the Dawn Show continues.